There is a massive debate that will break out and is breaking out in the United Kingdom. Look at those pictures. Violent protests have rocked the Hare Hills area of Leeds in the United Kingdom, with mobs torching and destroying police cars, public transport and local businesses even pelting stones at the police. Reports suggest the disturbance began after social services removed 4 children from a family. Officers, agency workers had safely removed the children, but locals went on a rampage, vandalizing the area. Hare Hills is home to immigrants, especially people of Pakistani and South Asian origin. The area has now been cordoned off. More police personnel have been deployed to control the situation. No arrests or detentions have been made so far as the police try to contain the area. The Conservative Party has lambasted the new Labour government for losing control of law and order. It's just barely been a few days since the elections. July 4th was the election result. Keir Starmer took over a few days later. Professor Scott Lucas, an international affairs expert, is with us. Professor Lucas, let me ask you, is this a jolt to multiculturalism? And secondly, let me ask you, sir, will this now lead to pressure on the Labour government to reconsider some of its stands on issues of checking immigration into the country?
I think, first of all, it's important to establish the facts and context of the case before getting to the wider questions. The facts are here. I need to tell you that I lived in Leeds. I went to university in Leeds. I worked as a lecturer in Leeds. I lived just up from Hare Hills. So I know the area. And the first thing is, it is a vibrant, multicultural area. I benefited from that. It has people from many different areas of South Asia who have been there, some of them for decades, some of them more recent. It has people from other parts of the world. It's an excellent place to live in. What happened in the specific case as you began to describe it, however, is, and this is a case that could happen whether you're talking about people are from South Asia, whether they're from another part of the world, or whether from the UK itself, is that the social services came in to take children away. The family didn't think the children should be taken away, in particular the father. Social services called in the police. The situation escalated, and we'll need to establish why. And then other people came in. Now, some people were angry, and that caused the violence. Some people came in to exploit it, to look for headlines. I have to be honest with you. The people that were involved in the violence here were from a number of different backgrounds. This was not, for example, a Muslim riot, as it's being portrayed by certain people, including a very destructive politician named Nigel Farage. This was not a Hindu riot, even though there are people who are Hindu who live in the area. And this, of course, was not a white riot. Although there were white people that were there, that were involved in this. So that's why I'm careful with you in terms of the wider issue. First of all, to simply say the Labour government has lost control is untrue. This is an incident which happened. It is unfortunate that it happened, but it is not systematic violence, systematic organized violence. It was a situation where a community, there was tension between social services and a family. And I've seen that happen in London. I've seen it happen in Manchester. I've seen it happen in other parts of the UK. Secondly, there is a very real risk here that without examining what this is in terms of a day-to-day basis, that you will see it used as an incident to bash not only another party like the Labour Party, but to bash an entire group of people, an entire community. In other words, it's a situation where people, and unfortunately there are some, they can play upon racism and play upon hatred of certain religions.
So you don't believe that this needs to be sort of examined from the lens of the failure of multiculturalism? You don't believe that, number one. And number two, you don't think that this will prompt Labour to go back to the drawing board and reassess some of its positions on immigration?
I'll say two things in relation to this, which is you got to get beyond the headlines, first of all, in terms of, look, you'll need to have an investigation here on the specifics, right, in terms of why social services acted the way they did. Did the family react appropriately? Did others in the community act appropriately? And there were local counselors out there trying to calm that violence. And there were counselors of different faiths that were out there, right? And later on, social media actually said, oh, they're part of the violence. Mm-hmm. That's the risk that was put here. Now, secondly, no, what you need to do is you need to go back and look at what's behind immigration, which is There are issues like housing. There are issues, for example, like social care. There are issues like education that are part of any community.
Okay.
When you have problems with social care, then this type of thing can happen. So you need to get to the fundamental issues rather than just shouting
Okay,
multicultural.
so at this moment, viewers, let's not jump to any conclusions. Let the facts play out. Once there is a cool-headed analysis of the situation, one can come to asking the larger questions. Professor Scott Lucas, thank you very much. He's an international affairs expert who lives around this area, so has a great insight, a worm's view, so to speak. Thank you very much. Viewers, The Right Stand coming up.